It seems as soon as I'm done recording one thing, something else pops up, then something else pops up, then something else pops up, something else leaks, there's another rumor, there's something else with the Nintendo Switch 2 here or there. It's actually pretty crazy, but at the same time, you can tell that things are getting incredibly close to actually being announced because there's so much stuff that is right around what you would expect for a system that's about to be announced, that's going to start getting pre-orders and all sorts of things. We got listings when it comes to games. We've got other information that's leaking out, and we've got to discuss it because two major AAA titles apparently have been leaked for the Nintendo Switch 2, or at least researched more like it. And there is someone that says pretty much researching other things that they found before with certain numbers, they've been able to determine some of the games that people are talking about that are on some French listing sites. So this is definitely going to be interesting to go over. Plus, we've got an update on the storage solution for the Nintendo Switch 2, so you're absolutely going to want to stick around for that. But before we get into everything, what's good everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get the latest Nintendo Switch RPG news and more first as soon as it drops. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the topic here. So we're going to start off with the big information. Shout outs to, I think it's Bowborn. I don't know how to say his name. Bouboune on Twitter. So you can check that out. And he says, after researches with the EAN found in a leak, here's a list of games that will arrive on the Nintendo Switch 2. Tekken 8, FIFA, Red Dead Redemption 2, question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm sure at 90% because I found similar EAN filed by the editors of those games. It says hashtag Nintendo Switch. So that right there is big. Now, for those who don't know, he's talking about a previous list of an assortment of EANs that was found because he actually stated this. He quote tweeted it and said, pre-made product pages for Nintendo Switch 2 console and games. We already have a list of third-party studios that will support the release. Usually the database are updated around 1 or 2 weeks before being online. The reveal is imminent. Now, here's the thing about this, guys. We have, according to this pre-order page and everything, shout out to my man Necro Felipe. He actually rounded up the information here. He said that there's going to be 3 titles from Bethesda, 4 titles from Electronic Arts, which looks like one of those is going to be FIFA, which that makes sense. Nintendo had FIFA at the launch of the regular Nintendo Switch 1 and has continuously gotten new FIFA games. 2 from Bandai Namco, 5 from Square Enix, 2 from Take-Two, and 2 from Warner Bros. Now, this, once again, all seems very believable. These are all companies that had support for the Nintendo Switch 1, either somewhat early or well into the Nintendo Switch generation, so I fully expect them to bring over some of these games. The big revelation, though, is that 2 of those games are going to be 2 big games that people have requested to play on a Nintendo platform, and that is Red Dead Redemption 2, in addition to Tekken 8. Now, Red Dead Redemption 1, that's on the Nintendo Switch, and apparently it actually sold really well. They were happy with how Red Dead Redemption 1 did on the Nintendo Switch. So could that actually fund and I would say give momentum to there being Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Nintendo Switch 2 now that you have a decent bump in power, more than a decent bump in power, a really good bump in power, and you have the next system that can handle it, probably, you know, bigger memory, different types of things that would be able to handle a game as massive as Red Dead Redemption. Because remember, guys, Red Dead Redemption 2, it is a behemoth of a game. If I'm not correct, it is like over 100 gigabytes plus on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. It was a monumental task getting that game to play as good as it did on those systems. So with the Nintendo Switch 2 having that newer process and architecture, I could absolutely see them saying, yeah, let's bring it over. Red Dead Redemption 1 did really well, so let's go ahead and bring over Red Dead Redemption 2. Tekken seems to be like something that Bandai Namco would also want to do. And I'll say this because I think that they didn't trust or they didn't know what was going on with the Nintendo Switch at first, which they did admit saying, hey, we should have been on board from the beginning. So I think that that pretty much missed out on the opportunity to get a Tekken game and instead said, hey, let's just go ahead and port over Pokken Tournament. We got that from the Wii U. That can sell decently because remember, at the launch of the Wii U, they had Tekken Tag Tournament 2 with some exclusive Nintendo outfits and things there, but then they opted to not support with Tekken at least, not support the Nintendo Switch, which seems like the wrong call, right? Because the Wii U obviously did not sell as much. They probably could have sold copies of Tekken on the Nintendo Switch if they opted to make a version of Tekken for the system. So I think that they're trying to not miss out on potentially having a pretty good base when it comes to bringing in Tekken, getting in more players. Also, I would say has a vote of confidence for Nintendo's online system to have something like Tekken 8 early in the life, because that's one thing also with the Nintendo Switch. The online was not figured out at the beginning of the system's launch, so a lot of companies were like, what's going on with online, you know, overall. So there wasn't a ton of online games. There were some, obviously Mario Kart 8 and stuff, but that was games that was already established and everything, so there wasn't a lot of online games even at the beginning, and it took a little bit of time before things really got rolling. And Nintendo still didn't have their new system that they have in there with NPLN up until 2021. So now you're going to have that new MPLN with multiple years of development and the advancements of the Nintendo Switch 2. So I do think that more online games can come over and not have as many problems. We also have the Nintendo Switch Online playtest that went down, and that was also a stress test for various different types of online functions, and things seem to have went pretty smoothly with that based off of the information that is out there. So are both of these games likely along with FIFA as well? Absolutely. Will we get more games revealed through people digging through and decrypting codes and all sorts of stuff? Absolutely. This is going to keep happening until Nintendo actually decides to reveal the system. And even after they reveal the system, and even after the games get announced, there's going to be more rumors and other things that leak out. It never ends. As someone who's covered Nintendo now for 4 generations at this point when it comes to online, this will be the fourth system overall. This always happens. People are always talking about, oh, if Nintendo just announced it, none of this would leak. And it's like something else will just leak and something else will just leak. And it always happens with all systems at any point. Now, Nintendo Switch 2, obviously, worst kept secret overall in terms of what it's going to be, the dimensions, the system, different type of stuff with it. But at the same time, they have a plan that Nintendo's doing. They're going to stick to that plan unless something crazy happens. But a few games here or there, or the system dimensions, or dummy consoles, or third-party accessories, that's not going to get Nintendo to budge at all. But I do feel, based off of some information that we got, because there's some insiders out there saying, hey, look, Xenoblade's coming, then after the Xenoblade reveal, or Xenoblade or Donkey Kong and all that, we could get that full announcement for the Nintendo Switch 2. We got the Xenoblade announcement according to Pioro and everything, so it does seem like Donkey Kong and then Nintendo Switch 2 up next. And that could be probably before the investor meeting, because by the investor meeting in early February, I think it's like February 4th or something like that, they definitely want to make sure that they have all their questions lined up and they can answer them, because otherwise, if they don't have the announcement, the investors are just going to go berserk. They're going to just start asking everything, and obviously they're not going to be able to answer it if there is no official announcement. Plus, they also stated before the end of March they will have something more, so it definitely seems like a perfect opportunity and time at this point to where it's going to be January, but we're going to have to wait and see. But overall, once again, I'm excited to see what they have for us, and I do think that this is definitely a good start. Getting something like Red Dead Redemption 2, despite it being a number of years old, it's still a big third-party game that people like, and being able to have a true portable anywhere that you want version of that game, in addition to the console, home console TV version, that is a huge benefit for the Nintendo Switch if it can get something like that. Obviously, having Tekken would be great. The big first-party games are going to be key, though. Third-party is fantastic, and it's great to get stuff. Hopefully, all of it runs good and looks good and everything. But the key for this is going to be Nintendo's first-party to really drive those console sales up, and then people can kind of say, okay, I'm going to also buy Red Dead, or I'm going to also buy FIFA, or also buy Tekken, or any of these other games that are coming. Apparently, there's more from Bethesda. There's more from other companies as well, which would make sense. Bethesda was also a huge supporter of the Nintendo Switch in the first year. We got stuff like Skyrim, we got Doom, we also got Wolfenstein, we got Doom Eternal, we got multiple Bethesda games on there. So yes, I would expect to see Bethesda titles on the Nintendo Switch 2 early in the life of the system. Now, what titles could that be? We're going to have to wait and see for that. Maybe Dishonored comes over. Maybe there's something like that overall. I think that maybe even the newest Doom game, that set could come over as well. So it's going to be very exciting to see what Nintendo has for us with these third-party companies, and of course what their plans are for the official full reveal of the system. All right, but now we're going to move over to the next thing here, which shows that the reveal is also imminent at this point. If that wasn't enough for you when it comes to certain stuff with games and the numbers and all that stuff that was leaking and what people are talking about, GameStop in their own system has some stuff that literally says Switch 2, and it confirms something that's absolutely a good thing when it comes to having better storage and faster storage on the Nintendo Switch 2 over the Nintendo Switch 1. So according to a leak that was on Reddit, somebody pulled up in the system of GameStop Nintendo Switch 2 accessories. So it says literally right here, Switch 2 EXP micro SD card 256 GB. So you see the price of $50, that's overpriced for that. Switch 2 Express micro SD card 256, Switch 2 Express micro SD card 512, and Joy-Con charger grip for Switch 2. So all of that shows right there. When you start getting these SKUs in the systems, that means that there is something coming up. They are getting those dummies, those pre-orders ready so people can go in there and pre-order them. That means that a launch when it comes to what Nintendo has relayed to the US partners is set. So the release date, the timing, all of that is set, ready to go for the most part. If they're starting to get some of these pre-orders and stuff, that Nintendo and their teams are talking to the retailers overall. But the big thing here is the Express. The Express SD card, that is something that people are wondering about overall. Would it be the same type of SD cards that the Nintendo Switch uses? Well, it seems like you can still use these standard SD cards if you want to, but if you want a bit bump up in quality, the SD Express cards from Samsung, those are going to be, or the Samsung technology, those are going to be what you're going to want to use on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, with that leak, we also have some more information on the Express SD cards. If you don't know about them, shout outs to Nintendo Wire for this one. I covered it on a previous video, but I wanted to go over what they said. So they were talking about why this is exciting when it comes to Express SD cards, and he says that they're not just any micro SD card. This is the micro SD Express card, and the differences are more significant than you might imagine. Let's dive into what makes the new storage solution so special. So it's still a micro SD card, keep that in mind. To fully understand this story, we need to go back about a year when Samsung announced they were developing a brand new format of micro SD card dubbed Express that promised speeds up to 4.4 times faster than the fastest cards on the market. According to Samsung, these cards offered SSD-like speeds in the same tiny form factor we've known and loved. They also have significantly larger maximum storage capacity, theoretically maxing out at 128 terabytes. Yes, 128 terabytes. Now, Nintendo probably won't support cards up to 128 terabytes, but at least you know the possibility is there. Now, Samsung had this to say about the format when they announced it last year. The sequential read speed of Samsung's SD Express micro SD card reaches up to 800 megabytes per second, 1.4 times faster than the SATA SSDs, up to 560 megabytes per second, and more than 4 times faster compared to traditional UHS 1 memory cards, up to 200 megabytes per second, allowing improved computing experiences in various applications, including PCs and mobile devices. To ensure stable performance and reliability for the small form factor, Dynamic Thermal Guard, DTG for short, technology maintains the optimum temperature for the SD Express micro SD card, even during long usage sessions. So that's going to be important, because one thing that you don't want is that you don't want your SD cards frying, which low quality SD cards can easily fry when they are used in a stressful situation. That's why you see some of those really ghetto budget cards that are super cheap. Well, yeah, because they're probably going to fry and they're of low quality, probably going to lose your memory, stuff like that. So what made this announcement so interesting wasn't just the new format, it was the claim that the card was, quote, the result of a successful collaboration with a customer to create a custom product. Who can that customer have been? Even back then, people speculated that Nintendo was the partner, and today's leak makes it clearer than ever that Nintendo plans to use these cards for the Nintendo Switch 2. So absolutely have to agree there. Nintendo definitely is going to be using these Express cards, and this will be better than what we got with the Nintendo Switch. Now, don't expect PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PC highest end level of SSD speeds overall, but you can expect a lot of games to be able to load faster and be better than what they were on the Nintendo Switch 1, which is what we should expect overall. we shouldn't be expecting PlayStation 5 Pro or PlayStation 4 this or whatever the case is, a significant jump over what the Nintendo Switch will be, with some modern touches and sensibilities like DLSS and other things that Nintendo will be adding to round out a great gaming experience, in addition to offering world-class first-party games. That's going to be the appealing and great thing about the Nintendo Switch 2, and which is why so many people are so excited and looking forward to this reveal. So I can't wait for it, and I think it's going to be really good, especially with this confirmation now. At this point, we kind of already knew, but now it's pretty much been solidified that it will use those express SD cards. Plus, we've got big third-party AAA games leaked and rumored as well. So very good. So what are your thoughts when it comes to everything that I talked about here with the Nintendo Switch 2? And of course, what else do you want me to talk about that I haven't at this point? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.